welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into the sources around a really interesting new EV, the 2025 Polestar 4.
Yeah, this is number 4 for them, and it's definitely making some waves.
It really is. It kind of sits in this weird space, you know? Is it a low crossover? A tall sedan?
Exactly. Depends on how you look at it. But the biggest thing, the thing grabbing all the headlines,
Yeah.
no rear window.
Not at all. Just gone.
Yeah.
Replaced entirely by a digital mirror camera setup.
Right. So our mission today really is to dig into those first drive reviews. We've got Edmunds, Car and Driver, Top Electric SUV, a few others, and synthesize what they found.
We need to figure out, does this whole no window thing actually work? What are the real performance trade-offs? And maybe most importantly,
Is it finished?
yeah, is this car truly ready? Especially with some of the software and handling issues reviewers brought up before it hits the US market properly?
And let's set the stage with price, because that frames everything. The single motor version, it starts around, what, $56,300?
That's the entry point.
But then you start adding packs, especially to the dual motor.
Hmm.
It climbs fast. You can easily push towards $80,000 fully loaded.
Puts it right up against some serious luxury EV competition.
Definitely does.
Okay, so let's unpack that design first. Polestar keeps calling it a crossover SUV.
Uh-huh. But the reviews, almost none of them really bought that label.
No, they looked at the shape, that low, sleek roofline, kind of coupe-ish, the frameless doors, the liftback.
And they basically said, this feels way more like a lifted hatchback or tall sedan, something sportier.
The numbers back that up too, right? It's lower than a RAV4.
Way lower. And only about 6.5 inches of ground clearance. That's car territory, not really SUV.
And the cargo space, I saw figures like 18.6, maybe 19 cubic feet behind the seats.
Yeah, which again sounds more like a large sedan. It's actually only a couple of cubic feet less than, say, a Dodge Charger.
So, okay, the classification is fuzzy. Let's get to that defining feature.
Yeah.
The missing rear window, just solid metal back there.
It's a bold move. And there was a design reason, not just looks, though some did praise the clean appearance it gives.
What was the rationale then?
By getting rid of the glass and the structure needed for it, the designers could actually push the rear seats further back.
Ah, okay. So that means...
Genuinely good rear legroom, like really spacious. And they could even fit power reclining rear seats. Turns the back into more of a lounge space.
Okay, that makes sense from a design perspective, but what about actually using it? Driving it day to day without a real mirror?
That's where the opinions started to split a bit. Edmunds, for instance, they were pretty clear.
Yeah, I remember reading they said not everyone is that trusting of just a camera feed. They miss the regular mirror.
That traditional quick glance, yeah. But then you look at Car and Driver or Top Electric SUV.
They were less bothered.
Much less. They found the digital mirror system worked really well. It uses a roof-mounted camera, gives a clear view.
And didn't it have that feature where it adjusts the view slightly with the turn signal?
Yeah, exactly. A neat little touch. And several reviewers basically said after a little while, they barely registered the lack of actual glass. It just became normal.
Interesting. So maybe it's something you just get used to.
Seems like it, for many people at least.
All right, let's shift gears then. Let's talk driving dynamics. Polestar positions itself as the sporty one, the Volvo alternative with more edge.
That's the brand identity, yeah. Precision performance.
Does the Polestar 4 deliver on that? Let's start with the powertrain options.
Okay, 2 main flavors. You've got the single motor, which is rear-wheel drive. Puts out around 270 horsepower, 253 pound-feet of torque.
Which is perfectly adequate, right? 0 to 60 in the mid to high sixes.
Yeah, 6.5 to 6.9 seconds, depending on the source. Plenty for daily driving. And the range estimate is good, up to maybe 310 miles EPA.
But then there's the big one, the dual motor.
Ah, yes. All-wheel drive, and the power just jumps. We're talking 536, maybe 544 horsepower, and over 500 pound-feet of torque.
And that changes the acceleration dramatically.
Oh, absolutely. 0 to 60 is projected around 3.5 to 3.7 seconds. That's seriously quick. Sports car territory.
But the trade-off is range, naturally. Drops to around 270, 280 miles estimated.
That's right. You pay for that performance with electrons.
So, on paper, the dual motor sounds like it fits the Polestar mission perfectly. Loads of power.
It does. But the question the reviews raised was about the feel. Does that power translate into sharp, precise handling?
Okay, let's unpack this handling critique then. Because Edmunds in particular sounded quite disappointed with the dual motor's dynamics.
They really did. They acknowledged the raw speed, the straight line thrust, but they felt it lacked that expected accuracy, especially when comparing it to the Polestar 3.
What were the specific complaints?
A few key things. The steering effort was apparently always too light no matter the drive mode. Just didn't give enough feedback from the road.
So you feel a bit disconnected.
Exactly. Makes it harder to place the car confidently. And they mention a sort of delay, like the chassis, especially the rear end, felt a bit, well, they used the word sloppy, like it wasn't quite keeping up with the front when turning in quickly.
Sloppy is not what you want to hear about a performance EV.
Not from Polestar, no.
And this ties into another area where the reviews seem to clash a bit, the ride quality.
Yeah, this was interesting. We saw two pretty different takes. Edmonds possibly driving a car on the big optional 22-inch wheels and standard suspension.
Found it quite stiff.
Very. They described it as jittery over bumps, expansion joints. Said it never really settled down, even on roads they called silky smooth in Spain.
Ouch. That doesn't sound very premium.
No. But then, car and driver had a different experience. They were testing the dual motor.
Which comes standard with adaptive dampers, right?
Correct. And that seems to be the key difference. They specifically said putting those adaptive dampers in the softest setting gave a comfortable ride. It smoothed things out considerably.
So the takeaway for you, the potential buyer, is that the ride comfort might heavily depend on whether you get that dual motor with the adaptive setup.
It seems that way. The standard non-adaptive suspension, especially with big wheels, might be quite firm.
Good to know. Let's move inside the car now, because this seems to be where everyone agreed the Polestar 4 really shines.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The cabin got almost universal praise. It's got that signature Scandinavian minimalist design, but it feels properly premium.
High-quality materials, right? Sustainable stuff, too.
Yep. Vegan leather options, this cool knit textile made from recycled materials, or you can spec it with Napa leather if you want. Seats are great, too. Supportive. Heating, cooling, massage available.
And I read about this quirky ambient lighting thing based on planets.
Ah, yeah. It's kind of fun. You pick a planet on the big screen, like Mars or Jupiter. Well, Uranus and the interior lights glow in colors associated with it.
Someone mentioned enjoying the deep blue hues of Uranus.
They did indeed. It has a bit of personality, you know?
Definitely memorable. And all this is controlled through the tech interface. It's Google-based, right?
Fully Google Automotive Services. So
Yeah.
you get Google Maps, Google Assistant, Play Store apps, all integrated. Runs on a big 15.4-inch central screen.
Plus a driver display and an optional head-up display.
Yeah, a 10.2-inch screen for the driver and an optional, pretty large 14.7-inch HUD. That HUD even has a specific yellow snow mode indicator, which is neat.
Okay, so the tech looks impressive, the materials are great, but this is where some major frustrations started cropping up in the reviews.
Right. This is where that minimalist aesthetic maybe went a step too far for usability. Two big issues with physical controls, or lack thereof.
And here's where it gets really interesting for daily driving. First, that huge main screen. Beautiful, but the icons.
Too small, apparently.
Yeah.
And the touch targets the actual areas you need to press are tiny.
Which is a problem if the car's ride is already a bit jittery.
Exactly. Trying to accurately jab a tiny icon while you're bouncing around, distracting, difficult, not ideal.
And the second major flaw seemed even worse. The climate controls.
Oh yeah, this got strong reactions. There are basically no physical buttons or knobs for heating, ventilation, air conditioning. It's all on the touchscreen.
Temperature, fan speed, even where the air blows.
Even directing the vents. You have to tap and drag little arrows on the screen. One reviewer literally called it a stupid solution and potentially a deal killer.
I mean, you just want to adjust the temperature quickly, not fiddle with the screen.
You shouldn't have to text your air vents, as someone put it. It forces your eyes off the road for basic functions.
That's bad enough on its own, but then you combine it with what sounded like the single most annoying feature of the car.
The driver attention warning system. Yes. This seemed to drive reviewers absolutely crazy.
One source called it the car's biggest crime. What was it doing?
It uses eye tracking, which is fine in principle, but the system was tuned so aggressively, so hypersensitively, that it just would not stop firing. Constant beeps, warnings telling the driver to pay attention.
For doing what?
For doing normal driving things, like checking your blind spot for a lane change, or glancing at the digital rearview mirror, the one they have to use, or, and this is the kicker.
Looking down at the touch screen to adjust the climate controls?
Precisely. The system would beep at you for trying to use the very interface the car forces you to use for basic functions. It sounds incredibly anxiety-inducing.
That sounds genuinely infuriating. They must be planning a software fix for that, right?
You desperately hope so. An over-the-air update seems essential before this car gets into many customer hands.
Yeah.
It just sounds broken, as described.
Okay, so if we connect all this back to the bigger picture for you, the listener, thinking about maybe buying one, that choice between the single and dual motor versions is pretty stark.
It really is. There are clear, measurable differences beyond just speed.
That price jump around $6,500 or $7,000 for the dual motor, it buys you that massive acceleration boost, 3.7 seconds versus almost 7 seconds to 60, and standard all-wheel drive.
Which definitely changes the character of the car, especially in bad weather or for performance driving.
But you're giving up range. How much was it again?
Somewhere between 18 and 30 miles less estimated range compared to the single motor, and lower overall efficiency, like 83 mpg versus 90 mpg combined.
So faster, grippier, but uses more energy and costs more upfront.
That's the core trade-off on the performance side. But there's also towing.
Ah, right. The dual motor tows significantly more.
Yeah, pretty big difference. The dual motor is rated for up to 3,500 pounds in the U.S. market, while the single motor is much lower, around 2,000 pounds.
So if towing is even a remote possibility, you basically need the dual motor.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the core EV stuff, the battery and charging, that's the same for both.
Right. Same 100 kilowatt battery pack, same charging speed up to 200 kilowatt DC fast charging.
Yep. Allowing that 10 to 80% charge in about 30 minutes under ideal conditions. So charging convenience is identical.
So it really boils down to how much do you value that extra speed, all-wheel drive, and towing versus saving money up front and maximizing your range.
That's the fundamental choice.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, the overall feeling from these first drives seems pretty consistent, doesn't it?
I think so. The Polestar 4 scores huge points for its unique style, that really high-quality interior feel, and undeniable speed in the dual motor form. But it feels, well, unfinished was the word used. It needs work. The standard suspension needs refinement, and the software.
Especially that driver attention system and the fiddly touchscreen controls for essential things like climate. Those need serious rethinking or immediate updates.
Which leads to a really interesting question, I think, not just for Polestar, but for the whole industry.
Which is?
Is this relentless push for extreme minimalism, getting rid of physical buttons, even getting rid of the rear window, is it ultimately worth it if it comes at the cost of basic usability and introduces these kinds of frustrating software glitches?
Yeah, is form starting to hurt function too much? Especially when you add in things like that overactive warning system.
It's a balancing act, and maybe the Polestar 4, in its current state, hasn't quite found the perfect balance yet.
A really compelling point for you to think about as these EVs continue to evolve. Well, thank you directly for joining us on this deep dive today. We really aim to be professional, skilled guides through all this information.
Absolutely. We appreciate you spending the time with us to explore all these different facets and trade-offs.
And look, if you want more of these kinds of insights, getting the key facts distilled quickly from all the noise, please make sure you follow the channel. That way you won't miss our next deep dive.
We're committed to bringing you the knowledge that matters, fast.